welcome to episode 4 of the Kenpo Corner. In this episode, we're going to discuss how you throw a punch and why we throw the punch the way we do. Now, when we first start learning, we start all students off in a square horse stance with both hands in what we call a chamber position, and we go into how to throw a punch. Now, unlike a lot of schools where we just have you start throwing punches in group class, we actually teach you how to throw the punch. In this case, which I'm going to turn sideways so you can see this better. When the hand's in chamber, we want you to throw the punch with palm up until the elbow leaves the rib cage. Now the reason for this is twofold. One, if you throw the punch too early, the elbow comes out away from the body, as you can see, and that tells your opponent that you're about to throw a punch. Also, by throwing a punch and rolling the hand over too early, instead of using the two big muscles, one in the front and one in the back, you're just using the top muscle of the shoulder. So in basic terms, you got one small muscle or two big muscles. Which one would you rather use? Of course, the two bigger muscles. So as the elbow leaves the rib cage, those muscles turn off and you go back to your shoulder muscle, and that's when you roll over. So you can get the maximum power using the maximum muscle out of your punch. So when you throw the punch, the elbow leaves the rib cage, then you roll it over, making sure the hand's flat, and you hit with these two knuckles. You don't want to hit with the back two because otherwise you can end up breaking your hand. These are the two bigger knuckles, so you want to practice hitting with those, making sure your hand's flat. Because if your hand is bent one way or the other, if it's bent down and you hit, you're going to probably break your wrist. If you hit up and you do it, you're going to break the wrist at the same time. So from here, the hand's going to come out. We're going to have our palm open so you can see it better. The elbow leaves the rib cage, the hand rolls over, and you strike right down the center line, or the face, the solar plexus, or the groin. So from here, the hand comes out, elbow leaves the rib cage, roll over, throw the punch, making sure your wrist is nice and flat. So when we practice this with students, we start with the left hand extended, the right hand in chamber. The right hand's going to come out. You're going to throw the punch straight down the center line. Left hand straight down the center line as the right hand goes into chamber. Same way. Okay, now no matter how you throw a punch, whether it's a vertical punch, an inverted punch, a ridge hand, it doesn't really matter. The process is the same. Okay? Whether you're throwing a vertical or a ridge hand, it's still the same thing. The elbow, the hand stays palm up until the elbow leaves the rib cage, and then you roll the hand over. So when you're practicing these, you want to practice making sure, if you want to, at first rub your hand against the rib cage so you can feel it. Once it leaves, roll over and retract the other hand, and then reverse. Now, another good way to practice this is like up against the wall. Not so much that you hit it, but just enough so that you can make sure you're hitting with these two knuckles, or if you've got a bag or a bob to work with, you can use those. Just get right in front of it, just so you're touching it, because you don't want to hurt yourself if you do it wrong, but you can use it as a target. Put a face, a groin, and a solar plex, and practice hitting those strikes, but making sure the hand, elbow leaves the body, then you roll over. Now, if you were to do this in a hard bow, so from your fighting stance, the hand would draw back. That's why when we do a block, we put our hand in chamber, because we're setting up our next strike, which no matter what, it's going to come from a chamber position. So from here, we're going to hand slowly move out, and we're going to roll it over. And at the same time we're going to roll over, we're going to go into a horse or a hard bow stance and pull our other hand into chamber. And that is a reverse punch because it's coming off the back hand. So from here, you have your reverse punch, and as your hand is going in, you're locking that leg out at the same time. Same principle. Elbow leaves the rib cage, roll over, strike down the center line. Okay? So one way to practice this is square horse, just throwing the punches nice and easy. Then when you get better at it, you can put some snap to it and roll it into it and get that pop into it, but make sure no matter how you do it, elbow leaves the rib cage. From hard bow, Just, okay, so for a reverse stance, throw a block in there if you want to practice your blocks. Hand comes out, reverse bow. Same thing, upwards block, doesn't matter. Inwards block, the hand's going to do the same thing. Okay? And that is how we throw a punch, and that's how we throw all of our strikes. Hand from chamber, elbow leaves the rib cage, rolls over, strikes down the center line. Okay? And that is the Kenpo episode, Kenpo Corner number 4 for this week. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll have something great for you next week. Until then.